and say hello to T Wood. There he is, my man T Wood. How are you, Tyron? Everything good?
Oh, my man. Hey, look, everything's great, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Wow, I have a lot of questions. I'm dying to know what you think, so let's get right into it. First off, did you watch the fight on Saturday, Colby Covington and RDA?
No, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm gonna watch it over the next week or so.
What happened to your voice?
You know what? It's funny you say that. I don't know. I think it's just switching time zones and going on flights that, you know, I lost my voice, and I've been recording as well. So I've been recording the album. So
Yes,
being in the studio, having a raspy voice is actually good.
it
So
is.
I didn't try to combat it. Yeah, for the sound that I was going for, um, it was good. So I didn't really try to combat it. Like was drinking hot tea or honey and all that shit. So my voice is kind of gone.
Wait,
First
so
off, what did
yes.
Kyra Queefington have to say? Because I know he was on her already. Let's get
uh,
that. Let's get right to the point.
okay, all
I
right.
miss you
Well,
too, brother. Hugs
yeah.
and kisses, but let's get to the meat.
Well, I mean, he just said, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You're the human uh,
What?
Nyquil, right? That's the real belt.
Yeah,
RDA is tougher than
yeah.
you. This is the easier fight now. Oh, he also said that he beat you up in sparring. There were times where like you wanted out. It was always very one sided in sparring. So he's looking forward
Yeah.
to doing what he did behind closed doors.
Okay.
That's a
So
that's
when
a
can we
little.
purchase this So when can we purchase this fiction film? When does it come out? Let me know when it drops.
Uh,
Because
Go
like
ahead.
what I've done is, and you know this because a lot of people have asked me to comment on Kobe. One thing that Kobe is really underestimating, that I will leak these text messages of him. I'm his big brother, and I will always his biggest big brother, and he's the one that, oh, I need help with marketing, man, and I need to get sponsors and I need to get in the UFC. He was brought in to training camp to help me train for Roy McDonald, and I've never met a more lazier piece of shit than Colby Covington, a more horrible human being than Colby Covington. When it was time to wrestle, ask him how many takedowns he actually scored on me. 0. Ask him why he turned blue like a fucking blueberry when I was choking him out and he refused to tap. So he is an asshole training partner. He's a horrible human being. Nothing that he's saying is factual. And I called him. And I said, hey, I know you feel like you got to do this. This is the path that Conor McGregor made. And you think this is what you got to do, but you're really making yourself look bad. I said, I gave you your one little hit on Fox when I was on air, and that's all. I said, so you can say whatever you want, and I'm not going to respond to it if that's what you feel like. He said, oh, man, I'm just trying to make money for both of us, man. We'll both eat at the end of the day, light at the tunnel. So I hate to, like, when somebody's doing a good job like Connor or Chael, I hate to unveil them. But when you got John Harnett of American Top Team scripting and writing your stuff, and when 99% of your social media is my face, you need to check your man visa, because you done lost all points. Not only has he never taken me down, Ariel, he's never won a millisecond of a round. He's never, I can't even imagine if he won an exchange of combinations. He ran from me the entire training camp. He went home early, saying his toe was hurting. And when it was time to really wrestle, he had my striking partner, Taylor Crawl, who myself, Thiago Alves, we all use him because he's a phenomenal striker. He was in there with a broken wrist wrestling me while Kobe was sitting in the weight room acting like he didn't know what was going on. So the fact that he would even bring that up, I'm going to whoop his ass so bad. I've never wanted to hurt somebody in my life. I've never wanted to beat somebody up so bad. He's so non-deserving to even fight in the title, and he's finessed himself in with his mouth. And he's also I said this. Ask the guys at Fox. They said, who's going to win between RDA and Kobe? I said, RDA has a better skill set, but we never seen him fight any person with emotion. He would have had to do that against Conor. He didn't fight Conor, so we don't see. John Jones, hey, don't get John Jones emotional. He going to beat you up worse. Some guys don't deal with emotion well. I think Jose Aldo didn't deal with the emotion well. I thought that if RDA allowed Colby Covington to get into his head, it would play a factor into the fight. Now, I haven't watched the fight, But I know one thing: Colby's never knocked a person out in his life, so I'm assuming he wrestled the hell out of him for 5 rounds. Is that what happened?
There was, I actually thought that he showed improved striking. To be honest, it was a relentless pace. He
Yeah,
smothered him. He just kind of beat him to the
yeah,
punch throughout the entire fight. But something that
yeah.
I thought that I feel is very interesting about this, like you're on board, right? Because in the past you've not wanted to address him. You didn't think he was on
Oh,
your level. You're on board now.
this is the thing. He's not on my level. He never will be on my level. But now he's to the point where it's almost like my duty as a martial artist to fuck him up. It's almost my job as a martial artist for whatever I stand for. I talked to Dan Lambert today. I said after I whip his ass, I want him off the team. He's a disgrace to American Top Team, the tradition that it was rooted in. He's a disgrace to the sport, and he's a mockery to the toughest and the best division in the UFC's history, which is a welterweight division. And he's a disgrace to it. It's not like he's just going out there and just saying something he believes. He's staging and premeditating very controversial, very racial, very socially insensitive statements, and he can't back it up. He's talked himself into a fight with me. The problem is when they lock this octagon, I'm going to unleash an ass whooping on him that nobody has ever experienced. And he can't run. He can't outstrike me. He can't out wrestle me. And anybody can get in shape, brother. You think cardio gonna beat me? Let me see you put your chin on the treadmill. Put your chin. Let me see the cardio of your chin because he hasn't been hit like I'm gonna hit him. RDA don't possess that power, and he didn't fight Usman because his toe was hurting, but he was trying to fight me. He's ran from the matchups that give him problems. Of course you want to fight me because guess what? Win, lose, or draw, you make an extra 200 grand. You fight for a world title. You can always say, well, I lost in the world title. He's okay with that, saying that he lost. He knows he's not going to win this fight. My toughest challenge in this fight is to mentally stay the competitor that I am, to stay to the game plan, and not allow my bitter hatred for him take me out from competing and go to wanting to just fight him.
By the way,
just straight up, like straight fight him.
right. Dan Lambert, you made that request. What did he say when you made that request?
Yeah, I can't disclose what he said.
Okay.
But Dan Lambert is not very fond of, Dan Lambert, man, he's like my dad. I call him Pop, and I've never asked that. Me and Hector Lombard had our beef. We squashed that. I'm pretty sure it's all undisclosed beef within the gym, and it has never came to that. But just for like, I carry pride in that. Like, I've never fought for another team. Yeah, I've trained with Antonio McKee. I trained at AKA, trained at Wildcard. Here recently, I've been doing a ton of training at Rufus Sport, and I would consider myself one of Rufus Sport guys as well. But for someone that has started as an amateur, not even as an amateur, I started at American Top Team as a coach. I was a coach for Dean Thomas, Thiago Alves. I was a wrestling coach. I wasn't even technically what you would call a fighter yet. And for me to come from a coach to an amateur fighter, to a pro fighter, to a world champion, I take pride in what American Top Team stand for. He's a disgrace. He's a shit on the bottom of my foot when I walk through the park. That's what he is. So the fact that he's making these ridiculous... What did I run from? I was going to fight Nate Diaz because it's a big money fight in December without the shoulder surgery. When I was offered that fight, I was going to fight him and then get the surgery afterwards. I told the UFC, I don't know for sure if I can fight in June. I think I can. But if you guys want to promote a fight and make a fly, I've never pulled out a fight. I don't want it to get close to that date, and I can't fight. I said July 100%. You recognize, Ariel, I haven't been out the sport for a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me another division that an interim title is put up and the fighter's not been out for a year. Name me one other champion in the history of our sport. Have you ever seen it?
Well, this year has been weird with the interims, but certainly not one who has been as active as you have been as champion. I mean, because you have 4 fights.
So after four world title fights in a year,
yeah.
I suffered an injury. I tried to go without having a surgery. I committed to fight Nate Diaz in December prior to the surgery. And you got to realize I got the surgery December 19th. It's June? And I'm cleared to go. So if you think that I didn't go get 3 series of stem cell and I didn't rehab like a fucking madman, I didn't buy a $12,000 stem machine to expedite my recovery, I didn't force the UFC to give me an additional 2 days of physical therapy because I'm not a person that's just trying to get to the day-to-day. I'm a world champion. So I made them give me 5 days. I made them buy me a game-ready ice machine. These are the things I've done, and I said I'm ready to fight in July. June, July, August. So the fact that this fight took place, it should have taken place because the division needed to shuffle deck. The number one contender needed to truly emerge. There wasn't a clear one there. So by him beating RDA and beating Damian Maia and winning the Boo Boo belt, he does, to me, has emerged worthy to get this ass whooping he's going to take. And I'm not going to make it fast. It's not going to be in the first round. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to embarrass him. And I'm going to do it the entire fight. And the referee get close, I'm going to say, move back, brother. I'll tell you when to step in and stop this fight. Don't fucking come in here and save his life. Let him take this fade. Let him take this L. Let him take this ass whooping because I don't want him to ever fight again. Like, I wouldn't care if he didn't make it out the octagon. And I'm dead ass serious about that. So
does it make does it make your skin crawl to see him with a belt though?
What is that? What is he wearing? My son got a WWE toy and a MMA toy downstairs with a belt on there. If he walks around with that and really thinks he's a champion and really act like that's a belt, I'm going to embarrass him in every press conference. I'm going to make fun of him, and I'm going to have the world join in because you're a joke. If you think you walking around with an interim belt and you didn't knock out the 2-time fighter of the year, one of the most vicious welterweight of all time, in record-breaking time, and take a belt from somebody, you can sit down somewhere.
What do you make of his desire to give the belt to Donald Trump and what he said about the Eagles and the Warriors and about people who kneel? What do you make of this now being a part of the story?
Well, he wants to be the heel because if you recognize Colby Covington, which my son said, who is that? And they follow the sport. So who is that? Oh, he's a cloud chaser. He's built his name off of trying to be the heel. How many times did Colby Covington fight on Fox or pay-per-view prior to Damian Maia? He was a Fight Pass phenom. Every fight that he had was on Fight Pass, many of which was on last minute notice, many of which was in Asia. He fought on Fox for the first time in his life when he fought Damian Maia, ever. So he thinks, in his mind, he's that friend that's doing that corny, douchey stuff that no friend around him is telling him, dude, you look like a douchebag. Nobody's pulling him to the side and telling him that. He thinks he's cool wearing these sunglasses. He thinks what he's saying is cool. The Donald Trump thing, the thing about the Brazilians, the thing about the nerds, the virgins. He's taking the bipolar opposite of what the sport is on purpose. Otherwise, he would have had to fight at least 5 more fights to be in contention to even crack the top 10. So hats off to him. If you guys bought into this, shame on you. You let him bamboozle you and finesse you. And if our sport is that bored with talent and superstars right now that we're willing to accept this bullshit, I feel bad for the sport.
Do you feel like the UFC kind of bought into this? Because I do believe that you are right. If it's the same Colby Covington as 2 years ago who doesn't talk like this, he's not fighting for interim belts and he's not in line to fight you.
For sure. I mean, think about it. You know, we haven't seen the number one superstar in our sport since November 2016. John Jones is out for a second. Ronda Rousey's retired. Who's a big superstar? Who? You know, we had guys that were on the cusp. You know, Cody Garbrandt was right there knocking at the door. You know, he got a lot of star power. We lose in this sport. You get clipped on the chin with a 4-ounce glove. Paige Van Zandt, Sage Northcutt, Wonder Boy. It's very difficult not to take a loss in this field. So when our sport was in dire need of some attention and some controversy, he emerged. He came at the right time. And I can't even hate on him for him. But he's going to get his ass whooped now. Now he's going to have to get in the octagon with a real puncher, with a real champion, and not just the best takedown defense in welterweight, the best takedown defense in the history of the sport. If we put on a singlet and get on a circle, he would not be able to buy a takedown. I talked to Dean. I said, Dean, you know what? I'm going to take him down and watch how he reacts. And I tortured him for the whole practice. He ran off the mat, basically crying, storming off. And I have people that are willing to come forth and testify to the training camp. Tell me one person that's going to testify that Colby whooped my ass in practice. Tell me one person that's going to lie under oath and let God above hear them say he beat me in anything. He ain't ever beat me in thumb wrestling.
By the way, you mentioned those text messages. When's the last time you had that kind of conversation with him where he was like, "Oh, we're gonna get paid"?
Let me see. Let me see my phone.
Okay.
Let me see my phone. Fuck. We might as well air this.
Let's see it.
Let me see. Cunt Queefington, where are you at? Colby. Covington. My phone probably just don't even like it and disgusted with the fact that his name was in there. And it boarded all messages. All right. I'll find it. But it was a way to. I mean, the first thing is he came to training camp and he was basically was talking about, oh man, I need sponsors, and this is before he had any UFC experience. He had one pro fight. He had a fight against I think it's Jason Jackson. What's his name? Was it Jason Jackson? He had a fight against him, and he broke his hand. And it was a terrible fight, but he toughed it out. He had his hand broke. So that's when he came to training camp with me. This dude was talking about he need a manager to pay him $40,000 to sign with him, to manage him. He needed sponsors and all this other stuff. And I looked at him to his face and I said, bro, you need to get your ass a job, bro. You ain't making no money. All the money to his name, Ariel, he had $2,000 to his name, and it came from me. He was carrying it around in a knot like a complete buffoon. All the money to his name, he had in a knot in his room for training with me. He had a rental car. He didn't have to pay for no food. He went to the gun range whenever he wanted to. And he sat in that room, was the laziest, when I say laziest, the laziest piece of shit I've ever laid eyes on. And he has great cardio. He's that one guy on the team that don't work out hard, and everybody hates him because he has good cardio. Ask Uriah a favor about him. When he came out to Uriah's gym, and he was so lazy. And he was talking so much shit on the American Top Team. Oh, nobody will spar me, and I'm beating up everybody. I'm beating up Robbie. I'm beating up, everybody's scared. I don't have no training partners. And we all looked around at him like, I remember it was me. It's funny. Me, Thiago Alves, Hector Lombard, Robbie Lawler, all at Dan Lambert House playing poker. And I said, if he can make it one round with all of us, then I'll give him some respect. Not one of us is going to let him out of a round. So it's just like, I held on to this for so long, and I let him talk. But I'm going to embarrass him in a press conference. I'm going to embarrass him in a fight. I hope he never fights again. And the UFC should be embarrassed for getting behind this. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to have a belt on an organization that really and truly going to sit here and act like this dude is somebody's champion. God, it's so embarrassing. What have we came to?
Is it true John Jones reached out to you and said he wants to help you train for him?
Yeah, that's funny because John don't reach out to me very much. John said, hey, whatever you need, brother, I want to help you. John, I told John, I said, man, you work so hard for your platform, from actually kicking ass and beating legends in their prime and being one of the greatest fighters we ever seen. Don't give him your platform, because he put a post up about him. Don't give him your platform. And you know what? I bit my own words because I did the same thing. I said, I am going to kick his ass so bad. He's going to wish he was dead instead. He's going to try to find a way out. I said, so don't worry about it. He was like, it can't happen soon enough. So if you look at Colby's page right now, and I challenge you fans that are watching this, go to his page. And if you can go more than 3 messages on Instagram without sending a picture of me, I would be willing to give you $100. I'll be willing to dig down in the wallet and bring out the blue cheese. The fact is, though I gave him the last moment because I was fed up, I got my own stuff going on. I got my show on TMZ. I got an album that's about to come out. I've been doing acting coaching. I got movies that are coming out. I've been on Fox. So I've been working. I've been grinding. He's been worrying about me. I've been making more money non-fighting than he's made in his entire career. So why am I going to pay attention and give him the focus? Now he's got my attention. And he got me into a position that I'm kind of actually scared of what I can actually do with this mental state. Like if I've knocked people out and I've never punched anybody 100% in the fight. Most of my knockouts come because I see it and I react and I get to the face real fast. I get to the chin real quick. It's not the fact that I'm just sitting there and teeing off. I'm going to try to tee off on him so bad that he just wants to quit. And if the referee look like he's going to come and break it up, I'm going to pause and tell him to take a step back. I'll let him recover before I whoop his ass some more. I can't wait. I cannot wait for this fight.
By the way, I think he might want you to unblock him on social media. Are you open to that? He said you blocked him.
I mean, of course, because like, you know what I get when I'm focusing on greatness and I'm chasing my day-to-day grind, which is it's crazy. You know me, I'm a worker, man. I'm nonstop. I don't want to see Colby Covington said this. Like people tag me, I say, guys, don't tag me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me mad. It doesn't motivate me. I don't want to prove him wrong. I don't want to. It annoys me. So yeah, I blocked him. He blocked me too, though.
Oh, for real? Oh, he didn't say that.
Friends.
He didn't say that.
Yeah, he blocked me too. So get out of here. He blocked me too.
All right.
So we're not friends. Why would I follow you on social media? Why would I look at your like he had 7,000 followers before he started bumping his gums. And what did he jump up to 40 or 50 now?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's on your show area to get your followers.
Nah. I'm just covering what happened. Can I ask? He says he wants to fight at MSG in November. Do you like that, or is that too far away for you now that you're ready?
He might fuck around and get a fight in the street if I see him close enough.
Oh.
He might get it sooner. You know what? Dana hasn't called me because he, I'm not gonna say why he didn't call me because I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I expected him to call me that night. So let me stay on the good terms on that one.
All right.
This is where I'm at. I'm not calling nobody out no more. People don't respond to me well when I call people out. When I ask for specific fights, I found that out. And you notice how I didn't make a fuss about the interim belt. I called it the boo-boo belt because that's what it is. It's kind of a joke. But I didn't go up and make a stink about it. I didn't go and, have a fit. I stayed busy. I kept working. I kept rehabbing. I kept training. And now at 5 or 6 months, I'm 100% healed, which is a fast turnover for anybody who's ever had a labor return. But now that the fight's done, whenever they want to do the fight, they want us to fight in July. They want us to fight in August, September, November. He ain't the champion. Take a nice warm glass and sit your ass down and shut the fuck up because you ain't the champion. You don't make the calls. Nobody cares where you want to fight at. You fight when the champ want to fight. And if you wear that belt around me during a press conference, I will make fun of you. I will embarrass you. If you wear a terrible-looking suit again that you got off the fucking clearance rack, that you had somebody put two pieces of staples on the back, you would get made fun of. So he has no say-so on when we fight. He's lucky and blessed he gets to take this ass whooping. So when I'm ready to fight and the UFC deem it the best time or I can make the most money, then we'll fight.
Last thing for you, Tyron. This has been phenomenal. I'm giddy at the thought of all of this. I can't tell you. It's just a beautiful thing. Have you looked, by the way, at your replies? Those 2 tweets that you sent out on Saturday. I pay attention to you and the way the fans view you. I cannot remember the last time you had that kind of support. It has to feel good. It's like 95%. Kick his ass, Tyron. You're the man. All of a sudden, everyone loves you. So that has to feel good, right?
I can't keep up with it because I get over the last 2 days. I got 300 messages a day on Instagram. You know how they go to the requested ones?
Yeah,
like 99 plus.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with it. Sorry, fans. I'll try to reply as much as I can. I never really did anything, to be honest, to get a negative image. And I knew who I was, so I never really let it get to me. A couple of times it bothered, me being able to get the certain fights that I wanted. But it doesn't surprise me. And if the fans want to get behind me and they got my back, you know what I mean? I'm not going to hate on them. I don't have no hard feelings. I never had any hard feelings in the beginning. So if now you guys want to see me beat this kid up because he's a joke and he looked like he smelled like stinky cinnamon, then hey, I whoop his ass.
It's beautiful. I have to say, I had a smile. I looked at those replies and I was like, well, it's about damn time. It took 2 years, but they're finally, on his bandwagon. They finally got his back. Great to talk to you, Tyron. I know a lot of people are hitting you up. I really appreciate you coming on. And by the way, let us know, when's the album coming out? What date? Do you have a date?
Hey, well, I got a song that's going to be perfectly geared for this fight. It's called "I'll Beat Your Ass."
Okay.
So that's going to be coming out in the next 2 weeks. So Colby Covington. Matter of fact, Colby Covington, you are a bitch, and I'm going to whoop your ass up and down the octagon. You're an embarrassment to the sport. And I hope after this fight, you never fight again. And as I told you in my gym a long time ago, when I told you to get a job, when you were complaining about not having money, and you said, oh, I'll never be a grocery shopper. A grocery bagger. I'm a pro fighter. I told you I'm a world champion, and I'll bag groceries right now. Hopefully you go and end up taking that job bagging groceries.
Well done, Tyron. Talk to you soon. Thanks for doing this.
All right.
There he is.